On nights when silence feels heavier than sound, and the walls of a home echo with loneliness, three terrifying true Home Alone horror stories emerge that shake the very idea of safety within one's own walls. Beginning with the first tale of a teenage girl left in charge of her suburban house while her parents went out of town, comforted at first by the glow of the television and the rhythmic ticking of the clock, until she began to notice subtle yet unmistakable signs that she was not alone. A faint creak on the stairs that seemed too deliberate to be the house settling, the soft drag of footsteps across the upstairs hallway, and the eerie sensation of being watched from the darkened corners of the living room. Gathering her courage, she dialed her parents, but the line was dead. And just as panic began to take hold, she glanced toward the staircase and saw the unmistakable shadow of someone crouching, unmoving, halfway down the steps, their eyes reflecting the faint glow of the TV. And when she screamed and bolted outside, the police later found a homeless man living in the attic with a collection of her personal items laid out like trophies. In the second story, a young boy, home alone on a stormy evening, found himself wrapped in an atmosphere of growing dread, the thunder rolling like ominous warnings as the lights flickered and the power eventually failed, leaving him with only a flashlight for comfort. But as he wandered through the house to check the fuse box, he noticed that the back door, which he knew he had locked, now stood ajar, the wet trail of muddy footprints leading from the porch into the kitchen, where they abruptly stopped as though whoever had entered was hiding in plain sight. Whispering reassurances to himself, he slowly backed toward the front door, only to hear the faint scrape of something metallic across the tile floor behind him. And when the police finally arrived after his frantic call, they discovered a knife missing from the kitchen counter and fresh prints on the inside of his closet door, confirming that the intruder had been waiting for the right moment to strike, and his quick thinking may have saved his life. The third story is perhaps the most chilling, recounting the experience of a college student studying late into the night in her small apartment. The muffled hum of the refrigerator and the occasional car passing by her only companions as she typed away on her laptop, until she realized with a chill that the faint scratching noise she had been dismissing for hours was growing louder, almost purposeful, as though something was attempting to pry its way inside. And when she turned off her music to listen more closely, she realized the sound was coming from the vent above her desk, the grate rattling ever so slightly, trying to convince herself it was just the wind or a small animal. She ignored it until curiosity made her fetch a chair to peer inside, where to her horror she found not an animal but a pair of wide, bloodshot human eyes staring directly back at her, accompanied by the faintest sound of heavy breathing. And in her terror she fell, dropping her phone, and scrambled to the door just as the grate burst open with a metallic crash, the intruder attempting to wriggle free from the ventilation system, only to flee into the night when her neighbors responded to her screams, leaving behind evidence that he had been hiding in the ductwork for weeks, watching her every move. These three creepy true Home Alone horror stories serve as bone-chilling reminders that the safety of one's home can become an illusion when unseen eyes and hidden dangers lurk in the very places we feel most secure, and they leave us with the terrifying truth that sometimes the real monsters are not supernatural at all, but flesh and blood people who wait in silence for the right moment to strike, turning ordinary nights of solitude into unforgettable encounters with horror.